Hello, and welcome to another episode of Everyday English Talk. My name is Aliza, and I'm so excited to spend this time with you today. Whether you're at home, commuting, or maybe taking a walk while listening, thank you for choosing to spend your time here with me. This channel is all about helping you learn English in a natural, effective, and enjoyable way. My goal is to make English feel less like a school subject and more like a tool you can use every single day to connect with people, to explore new ideas, and to open new opportunities. Today's episode is going to be a long, deep dive. We're going to spend about 1 hour together just talking about English, why it's important, what makes it difficult, how you can improve, and most importantly, how you can keep yourself motivated on this journey. So if you're serious about learning English, grab your headphones, maybe a notebook, and let's dive right in. Let's begin by asking a simple question. Why English? Why do so many people around the world want to learn this language? Well, English is often called the global language. It's the most widely spoken second language in the world. If you look at the numbers, more than 1.5 billion people are learning or speaking English right now. That means no matter where you travel, there's a good chance you'll find someone who can communicate with you in English. But it's not just about numbers. It's about opportunities. Imagine this. You're traveling to another country, maybe Japan, maybe Germany, maybe Brazil. The local language might be different, but when you meet people from around the world, the common ground is often English. English has become the bridge language. It allows people from completely different cultures to understand each other. If you know English, you can communicate with people you would never be able to talk to otherwise. Another big reason is education. The majority of top universities in the world use English, either fully or partially. If you dream about studying abroad, reading advanced research, or even joining online courses, English opens that door for you. Think about how much free knowledge is available online. From YouTube tutorials, online lectures, podcasts, and articles, most of it is in English. So learning English doesn't just give you a language, it gives you access to a library of the world's knowledge. And let's not forget about work. English is often called the language of business. International companies expect employees to understand and communicate in English. If you want to work with clients overseas, join international projects, or even improve your career at home, English is a huge advantage. I've heard countless stories of people who doubled their opportunities just because they could communicate in English. For example, someone working in tourism who suddenly got promoted because they could talk to international visitors, or an engineer who got the chance to work on global projects because of their English skills. Now, let's talk about something a little more fun: entertainment. Think about your favorite movies, TV shows, music, or books. So much of it is originally in English. Yes, you can watch translations or listen to dubbed versions, but there's something special about enjoying the original. You catch the jokes, the expressions, the rhythm, the cultural references. For example, when you watch a comedy in English, the timing of the jokes often doesn't translate perfectly into another language. But when you understand English, you can laugh at it exactly the way it was intended. And of course, music. From the Beatles to Taylor Swift to Ed Sheeran, English dominates the music world. Understanding the lyrics makes the experience so much more powerful. Here's another big one: the internet. Over half of the content on the internet is in English. Think about that. Whether it's articles, forums, social media, or tutorials, English is everywhere. If you want to stay up to date with technology, business trends, or global news, English gives you direct access. Even in programming and technology, English is the foundation. Coding languages, documentation, and communities are mostly English-based. So you can see English isn't just another subject. It's not just something you learn in school and forget after the exam. It's a life skill. It's a passport to more opportunities, more connections, and more experiences. But here's the truth. While English can open so many doors, learning it is not always easy. In fact, many learners feel stuck, frustrated, or even embarrassed when they try to speak. And that's what I want to talk about next. In the next section, we'll explore the common challenges learners face when learning English and why those challenges are completely normal. So take a deep breath, relax, and let's keep going.
So now that we've talked about why English is important and how it can open doors in education, business, travel, and even culture, let's get real for a moment. Because while learning English sounds exciting in theory, when you sit down to actually study, it can feel, well, hard. And I want to be honest with you. If you've ever felt frustrated, embarrassed, or like you're not improving fast enough, you are not alone. Every English learner faces challenges. And in this part of our podcast, I want to talk about the most common challenges that learners experience. Why? Because when you understand that these challenges are normal, you stop feeling ashamed and you can start working through them with confidence. So, let's dive in. One of the first difficulties that almost every learner talks about is pronunciation. English pronunciation can be tricky because sometimes the way a word is written is not the way it's pronounced. For example, think about the word though. It looks like though, but it's pronounced like though. Then compare it to through or tough. Same letters, different sounds. It's confusing, right? And then we have sounds that don't even exist in your native language. For example, the th sound in words like think or this. Many learners replace it with s or d because it's more comfortable. Here's the thing. Pronunciation is a muscle skill. Just like going to the gym, your mouth, tongue, and lips need practice to produce new sounds. And it takes time. So if you struggle with pronunciation, don't beat yourself up. Even advanced learners often have accents or mispronunciations, and that's perfectly fine. The goal is not to sound 100% native. The goal is to be understood. Grammar, the word that makes most learners sigh. English grammar can feel overwhelming because there are so many tenses, exceptions, and rules. Past perfect, present continuous, future conditional. It sounds like math sometimes. But here's the truth. Grammar is not the enemy. Grammar is simply the structure that holds the language together. The real problem is how grammar is often taught through boring charts and long explanations. In reality, most people don't need to memorize every single grammar rule. What you need is to notice patterns in real conversations. For example, instead of memorizing the present continuous tense is formed by the verb to be plus the ing form, just listen to sentences like, I'm studying right now, or she's watching a movie. Notice the pattern, subject plus be plus ing. That's it. So yes, grammar is tricky, but it becomes much easier when you learn it in context rather than in isolation. Have you ever tried to learn new words and then forgotten them the very next day? That's a super common challenge. English has a massive vocabulary. In fact, the Oxford English Dictionary lists more than 170,000 words that are in current use. But here's the good news. You don't need all of them. Most daily conversations use around 2,000 to 3,000 words. The challenge is not learning all the words, but learning the right words for your goals. For example, if you want to work in business, you'll need terms like deadline, contract, negotiation. If you love travel, you'll need words like ticket, luggage, reservation. The key is to learn vocabulary that's useful for your life, and then to practice using it, not just writing it down in a notebook. Let's be honest. One of the biggest challenges is fear. So many learners understand English when they read or listen, but when it's time to speak, they freeze. Their brain goes blank or they worry about making mistakes. This fear is normal. It comes from the idea that we must speak perfectly or that people will laugh at us. But here's the secret. Most people don't care if you make mistakes. In fact, they're impressed that you're speaking another language at all. Think about it. If someone spoke your language imperfectly, would you laugh at them? Probably not. You'd respect their effort. The only way to beat fear is to practice speaking regularly, even if it's just small sentences, even if you talk to yourself in the mirror. The more you speak, the less power fear has. Another big challenge is time. We all have busy lives, work, school, family, responsibilities. Finding even 20 minutes a day to focus on English feels impossible sometimes. But here's the mindset shift. You don't always need hours of study. You just need consistency. 10 minutes a day, every day, is better than 3 hours once a month. You can listen to podcasts while commuting, read a short article before bed, or use an app during your lunch break. Small, daily habits create big results over time. At the beginning, learning English feels exciting, but after a few weeks or months, the motivation often drops. You feel like you're not improving, or you get bored, or life just gets in the way. This is one of the most dangerous challenges because when motivation disappears, many people quit. The solution? Find your why. Why are you learning English? Is it for travel? For your career? For personal growth? Remind yourself of that reason whenever you feel stuck. And also, make learning fun. Watch movies you like, listen to music, talk to friends online. Learning doesn't always have to feel like study. It can feel like play. Let me tell you a quick story. I once knew a student who was very dedicated in the beginning. She studied grammar books for hours, but after 3 months, she lost motivation because she wasn't enjoying it. She almost gave up. Then she changed her approach. Instead of textbooks, she started watching her favorite TV series in English. She didn't understand everything at first, but she enjoyed the process. And slowly, her listening improved, then her speaking improved. The lesson here is learning English is not just about hard work. It's about creating an enjoyable process you can stick with for months and years. So, to summarize this part, pronunciation can be tricky, but practice is the solution. Grammar feels confusing, but patterns make it easier. Vocabulary is huge, but focus on what's useful. Speaking fear is normal, but practice reduces it. Lack of time is common, but small daily habits work. Motivation will rise and fall, but knowing your why keeps you going. These are the main challenges, and every learner faces them. So if you see yourself in these struggles, remember, you are not alone, and you are not failing. You are simply on the same journey as millions of other learners. Now that we've looked at the challenges, in the next section of our conversation, we'll move to the really exciting part, practical tips and methods to learn English effectively. This will be the heart of today's podcast, so stay with me.
All right, we've talked about the importance of English, and we've looked at the common challenges that almost every learner faces. Now it's time for the most valuable part of today's episode, practical tips and daily habits you can use to actually improve your English. I want you to think of this section as a toolbox. I'll give you a variety of tools, and you can choose the ones that fit your lifestyle best. You don't need to do all of them at once. Even if you apply just a few consistently, you will see real progress over time. So let's break it down into the 4 key skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And then we'll talk about habits and mindset that tie it all together. Listening is often the first step in language learning. When you listen, you train your brain to recognize patterns, rhythms, and sounds. Here are some ways to practice listening. Podcasts and audiobooks. Just like you're listening now, podcasts are a fantastic way to get used to natural English. Start with topics you enjoy. If you like sports, find a sports podcast. If you like business, find a business one. Watch movies and TV shows with subtitles at first. Try watching an episode twice, the first time with subtitles in your language, the second time with English subtitles. Over time, challenge yourself to watch without any subtitles. Music. Songs are a fun way to absorb new vocabulary and pronunciation. Pick a song you like, read the lyrics, and sing along. You'll notice how your mouth adapts to the rhythm of English. Daily listening routine. Even if you don't understand everything, background listening helps. Put on an English podcast while cooking, driving, or exercising. Your brain will start to recognize sounds naturally. The secret here is consistency. 10 minutes every day is much better than 2 hours once a week. Now let's talk about speaking, which is often the scariest skill. Many learners understand English, but freeze when they need to speak. Here are some strategies. Talk to yourself. Yes, it sounds funny, but it works. Describe what you're doing. I'm making coffee. I'm opening the fridge. This builds fluency without pressure. Shadowing technique. Listen to a native speaker, maybe from a podcast or YouTube, and repeat after them, trying to copy their pronunciation and rhythm. It's like singing along, but with speaking. Language exchange. Find a partner online who wants to learn your language, and in return, they help you with English. Websites and apps make this easy. Record yourself. This one is powerful. Record your voice while reading or speaking freely. Listen back and you'll notice things you didn't realize, like pronunciation or speed. Don't fear mistakes. Remember, mistakes are proof that you're learning. Babies don't speak perfectly when they learn their first language, and neither will you. The key is to use English as often as possible. Even 5 minutes of speaking daily is better than nothing. Reading helps you expand vocabulary, see grammar in action, and improve comprehension. Some tips. Start small. Don't jump into Shakespeare right away. Begin with simple articles, blogs, or even children's books. Read what you love. If you enjoy cooking, read recipes in English. If you love sports, read sports news in English. The more interested you are, the easier it feels. Use graded readers. These are books written at different difficulty levels for English learners. They're perfect for building confidence. Highlight and note vocabulary. When you see a new word, highlight it. Write it down in a notebook or in an app. But don't just collect words. Try to use them later. Read aloud. This helps with both reading and speaking. It trains your mouth and brain at the same time. Writing is often the most ignored skill, but it's powerful because it forces you to think carefully about vocabulary and grammar. Here's how to practice. Keep a journal. Write a few sentences about your day. Today I woke up early. I went to work. I learned something new. Over time, your sentences will grow longer and more natural. Use social media in English. Post short updates on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook in English. Even a single sentence counts as practice. Write emails or messages. If you have international friends, try writing to them in English. Don't fear mistakes. Just like speaking, writing doesn't have to be perfect. The goal is expression. Perfection comes later. Since vocabulary is so important, let me give you some extra strategies. Spaced repetition apps. Apps like Anki or Quizlet help you review words at the right time so you don't forget them. Word families. Instead of just learning happy, also learn happiness, unhappy, and happily. One word becomes many. Learn in context. Don't just memorize lists. Learn words inside sentences. For example, instead of deadline equals due date, remember the sentence, the deadline is tomorrow. Use the new word. Try to use a new word within 24 hours. Say it, write it, text it. The more you use it, the faster it sticks. Now, let's put it all together with daily habits. Here's a sample routine you could follow. Morning, 10 minutes. Listen to a short podcast episode or a news clip. Afternoon, 10 minutes. Read one page of an English article or book. Evening, 10 minutes. Write 3 to 5 sentences in your journal about your day. Anytime, 5 minutes. Speak out loud to yourself about what you're doing. That's just 35 minutes a day, broken into small chunks. Totally possible, even for busy people. The real secret is consistency. Imagine doing this every day for 1 year. That's over 200 hours of English practice without ever feeling overwhelmed. One mistake learners make is treating English like a chore. If it feels boring, you won't stick with it. So make it fun. Watch your favorite TV shows in English. Play video games in English. Join online groups or communities that discuss your hobbies in English. Try karaoke with English songs. When learning is enjoyable, motivation comes naturally. Let me share a quick story. A friend of mine wanted to learn English, but hated textbooks. He was a big fan of video games, so he started playing online games with players from around the world. At first, he just listened. Then he began typing short sentences in the chat. Later, he joined voice chats. Guess what? After a year, his English had improved dramatically, and he never once opened a grammar book. That's the power of fun learning. So, to summarize the practical tips, listen every day, even in the background. Speak regularly, even to yourself. Read things you love, not things you hate. Write small but often. Build vocabulary in context and use it. Create small daily habits. And most importantly, make it fun. If you do even half of these consistently, you'll be amazed at how much your English grows over time. In the next section, we'll dive into something just as important as methods and habits, your mindset and motivation. Because no matter how good your study plan is, if you lose motivation, you'll stop. And I don't want that for you. So stay with me. We're going to talk about how to keep yourself inspired and confident on this English learning journey.
We've covered a lot so far. Why English matters, the challenges learners face, and the practical tips to improve listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Now, I want to finish by talking about something that's often even more important than study methods, your mindset and motivation. Because here's the truth. You could have the best textbooks, the best apps, and even the best teachers. But if you lose motivation, none of it will matter. Learning English is not a sprint. It's a marathon. And the way you think about it will determine how far you go. The first mindset shift I want you to remember is this: mistakes are your best teacher. When children learn their first language, they make thousands of mistakes. They say words incorrectly, mix up grammar, and sometimes invent new words. But no one tells them to stop speaking. They keep trying, and eventually they master the language. You must do the same with English. Instead of feeling embarrassed, celebrate mistakes. Each mistake is proof that you are trying, and each mistake is one step closer to fluency. So the next time you make a mistake, smile and say, "Great, I just learned something new." Another key mindset is to measure your progress, not your perfection. It's easy to compare yourself to native speakers and feel frustrated. But remember, your goal is communication, not perfection. Ask yourself, am I better today than I was last month? Maybe now you can understand more of a TV show. Maybe you can write longer sentences. Maybe you can have a short conversation without freezing. That's progress, and it's worth celebrating. Learning a language is like climbing a mountain. Don't look only at how far you still have to go. Look back at how far you've already climbed. I mentioned this earlier, but it's worth repeating. You need a strong reason for learning English. Maybe it's for your career. Maybe it's to study abroad. Maybe it's to make new friends or travel the world. Whatever your reason is, write it down. Keep it somewhere you can see every day. Because when you hit a difficult moment, when you feel tired, when you feel stuck, your why will keep you moving forward. A lot of learners make this mistake. They study really hard for 1 week, then stop for a month. That doesn't work. It's not about intensity. It's about consistency. 10 minutes a day, every day, will beat one big study session once in a while. Think of English like brushing your teeth. You don't brush for 3 hours once a week. You brush for a few minutes every day. Small habits matter more than big efforts. One of the best ways to stay motivated is to make English a natural part of your environment. Change the language on your phone or computer to English. Follow English-speaking YouTubers, influencers, or podcasters. Label objects in your house with their English names. Join online communities where people post in English. When English is all around you, it stops feeling like study and starts feeling like life. Don't wait until you're fluent to feel proud of yourself. Celebrate every step. Did you understand a joke in English? Celebrate. Did you order food in English without fear? Celebrate. Did you finish reading your first article in English? Celebrate. Small wins add up. They remind you that you are moving forward, even if fluency feels far away. Let me share one last story with you. I once had a student who always felt frustrated. She wanted to speak English perfectly, but every mistake made her want to quit. One day I told her, instead of aiming for perfect English, aim for brave English. She took that advice to heart. She started speaking more often, even if her sentences weren't perfect. She laughed at her mistakes, and guess what? In just a few months, her confidence grew, and so did her fluency. The point is, don't chase perfection. Chase progress. Chase courage. Chase connection. That's what English is all about. So here's my message to you. Don't be afraid of mistakes. Don't compare yourself to others. Focus on small, daily steps. Keep your why close to your heart. And enjoy the process. English is not just about grammar and vocabulary. It's about connecting with the world, expanding your opportunities, and becoming a more confident version of yourself. You have everything you need to succeed. All you need is consistency and patience. And that brings us to the end of today's episode of Everyday English Talk. I want to thank you so much for spending this hour with me. I hope you found value in our conversation, and I hope you feel more motivated to continue your English learning journey. Remember, English is not about being perfect. It's about being brave enough to use it every day. And with time, effort, and consistency, you will improve. If you enjoyed this podcast, don't forget to subscribe to Everyday English Talk for more episodes like this. Share it with a friend who's also learning English, and let's grow together as a community. Until next time, keep practicing, keep smiling, and keep talking. This is Elisa, signing off from Everyday English Talk. Take care, and see you in the next episode.